Hello and welcome to the channel that covers everything where health and technology meet. And today we're going to talk about everything I love and hate about the 8 Sleep Smart Mattress. Now this is going to be more of a rapid fire video trying to give you as much information as I can cram into one video as quick as possible. But if you do want the full review, I'll link it in the description down below. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the love, and that's that when you jump into bed, it's already pre-cooled or preheated to the temperature you want. And there's just something about that and the relaxation it causes that when you start to go to bed, you just feel so comfortable right out of the gate that your entire night of sleep is better just because you go into it so relaxed. So I truly love that feature. Another feature I love is the dual climate and more specifically how well it works. Your partner can open the app on their phone, make all sorts of settings they want, and you can customize your side how you want. And if you have it really cold and they have it really hot, there is no bleed over. As soon as you cross that line, you're going to feel their settings, whether it's hot or cold, and you're going to feel a very stark difference from your side. And there is just no bleed over. There is no wishing they didn't have it so hot or so cold because your side is your side, their side is theirs. And it works very well at separating those zones. So you're going to have exactly what you want. A hate for me is the partner alarm and the fact that it might wake you up and then you can't turn it off. So my wife would set her alarm real early, which would vibrate her side of the bed. And you can control this and turn it up and down. And she had it set kind of high. And I would feel that on my side. Now, what would happen is she would go to get out of bed and it would keep vibrating. And it wouldn't just automatically turn off or recognize that she'd got out of bed. So what I'd have to do is open the app, try to go to her side and turn it off, but it wouldn't let me. Now, I'm assuming this is something that will be fixed in the app very soon because it's something that could be easily adjusted. But it can be quite annoying when you're trying to sleep and the bed does wake you up when you don't want to. Another love is the schedule or your ability to control what this bed does through different stages of the night. And that might mean that you want it cool to start and slightly warm up and cool back down. Whatever way you want to tweak throughout the night, you can do that. And that's something I think a lot of people might get confused about with this bed is that it's just about fancy features and being more comfortable, but it's really not. It's about getting better sleep so that way when you wake up, you feel like you got more out of the sleep you did get and you're more ready to tackle the day full of energy and don't feel groggy just because your quality of sleep is poor. And the schedule does exactly that. You over time tweak that schedule to match how you sleep best so that way you sleep deep and you're not being interrupted and you're just staying in that deep sleep, that quality sleep state. And so when you do wake up, you feel great. And that has worked out amazingly well for me. Another love is the consistent temperature. And what I mean by this is some beds, as the house cools down or heats up, if you have it at a setting and the house heats up, it's going to heat up even more. Now you're suddenly too hot. And same thing with the cold. Well, with this bed, the hub actually detects how warm the room is, and the bed also knows how warm the mattress actually is. And it will use these values to make sure it's making adjustments to keep you comfortable and where you've told it you want to be. So there's no fluctuations that suddenly make you feel like it was great at one point, but then suddenly you feel miserable because you're too hot or too cold. It stays nice and consistent, again, keeping you comfortable all night long. Another feature I hate is that sometimes the bed makes noises. And what this bed does is it actually pressurizes a water layer near the top of the mattress, and this is what it uses to heat and cool the bed. Well, when that pressure starts to get low, sometimes it makes noises. You can hear that water moving through the bed. It's minor and it almost never happens because all you have to do is fill the water canister and then prime the bed, which repressurizes it and the noise goes away. This is very, very rare, but when it does happen, it can be at a bit of annoyance. But I will admit, I'm reaching on the hate items because this bed is actually really good and I have a hard time finding a lot of things I hate. Another feature I love are the sleep analytics that are uploaded to the app after you're done sleeping. There are sensors loaded throughout this bed and it captures all sorts of information from respiratory rate, heart rate, temperature, and different things that give you a picture of how well you slept and if you might want to make adjustments. This might not be important to everyone, but it's really nice to know it's there. So if you do feel like your quality of sleep has went down, you have all that information to kind of go and compare what's changed and what you might be able to do to improve it. Another hate topic is that you actually have to put a little bit of work into this bed. And what I mean by that is that when the water canister is low from the hub, you actually have to take it out, fill it back up, and put it back in. This is something that only has to be done every 1 or 2 months, and your app will alert you when it needs to be done. So it's not something like you suddenly find out you're out of water in the middle of the night. It's actually a very, very minor inconvenience, and it's very, very easy to fill back up. But it's something you have to do, and some people might not appreciate that. Another thing I love is how easy to use the app is and also how well laid out it is. You're able to get to whatever you want to control very, very easily, whether that's a schedule, your sleep analytics, or just make an on-the-fly change. Maybe you wake up middle of the night and it was just super cold that night and you're just not feeling it. You go in there, hit up a couple times, and you're going to change the temperature immediately. And it takes almost no thought. It's just so well laid out. It's so easy to get to everything in the app, and it's pretty feature rich. So I really, really appreciate that part of the bed. Another thing that might be a hate for some people is that it does cost a little bit of money. This is something that has to plug into the wall and use a little bit of electricity. Now I plugged a meter into the wall and just did some testing, And I'm guessing the average user is probably only going to see maybe a $5 plus or minus a couple dollars increase in their bill every month. So it's a very minor change, but it is something that you could factor in and say that you don't appreciate. So I'll point that out real quick. And something that I knew was a feature before I got the bed that I didn't appreciate that much was a smart wake. I really didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but what this bed does is when it's time to wake you up, it actually will start gently raising the temperature of the bed, giving your body a signal that it's going to be waking up soon. So when it does wake you up, it's not so abrupt. If you're in a deep sleep state, it's not just snapping you out of that. Your body kind of knows it's coming. And in addition to that, it doesn't use a loud alarm that startles you and breaks you out of your sleep state. It uses a vibration that kind of gently wakes you up. And I personally have noticed that when I used to wake up, I hated it. I took forever to wake up. It made me feel terrible. I seriously wouldn't be until I got to work and I'd been there for a half hour and I'd been awake for almost 2 hours before I finally started to snap out of it. But with this bed, yes, I'm still tired. I'm still waking up, but it is completely different. I actually just feel like, okay, it's time to get up. It's no big deal. And that feature has worked out very, very well for me. I hope that's helped out. And I do want to reiterate that when it comes to the hates on this bed, I am really reaching. This bed, I've had it for a while now and it has been amazing. From the scheduling to the comfort to the quality of sleep to the smart wake, all those things have came together just to make my sleep so much better. I feel way more energized. I feel like I have more hours in a day because I'm not half falling asleep throughout the day. Everything has been so much better. So I think a lot of people would really enjoy this bed and take full advantage of it. If you do want to check it out, I have a link in the description. But until next time, here's to a healthier you and have a good one.